Hi everyone. Thank you for joining our session and a very warm welcome for our next education outreach session. It is an initiative started by GSOC as I feel that every students stuck in their tech career need guidance, support, industry practical knowledge. So we started this initiative as a bridge to connect industry experts, professional with the student aiming for the guidance. So it is our initiative to bring a real world experience, industry insights, and career tips with the help of existing professional working in the industries. So I'm Jyoti Singh, representing content team of GSOC 2025, and I feel very grateful, excited, and incredibly proud to introduce our speaker, Prajwala Yadlapalli, currently working as a data engineer intern at Providence and incoming as a software development intern at Mercury. So that's look very interesting for us, and we feel very proud to onboard Prajwala. So as we have already shared with you all that today's session is will be around hackathon open source projects and importance of side projects. So we'll be hearing more from the Prajwala that how a tech journey started and how it unfolds, and lot of tips and lot of helpful guidance will be there. So please stay with us, and meanwhile you can drop comments regarding your queries. We'll be addressing in between or maybe at the last. So without any further delay, over to you, Prajwala. You can carry on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Jyoti, for the warm welcome. And hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today. And thank you for joining in. I am Prajwala Yadlapalli, a data engineering intern at Providence, and soon to be heading to Japan as an incoming software engineering intern at Mercury, like Jyoti already mentioned. But here's the honest part. The most exciting parts of my journey didn't come from any lectures, textbooks, or exam prep. They came from messy side projects that barely worked at first, and late night hackathons powered by coffee and chips, and contributing to open source with zero clue of what I was doing. And that's exactly what this session is about. It's a real, relaxed, and hopefully fun conversation about how I figured things out, maybe one tiny project at a time. So I would suggest you all to grab a notes app or a pen because we'll be doing a small activity later that might maybe just help you discover your next great project idea. So, but first, let's maybe get to know each other a little. I have a small, quick poll for you all. I'll be posting it in the comments and you can share what option you're looking for. Just a second. Yeah, so I've shared the poll for you all. You can type in which option maybe you're looking for in today's session. Okay, I see a option D. I see more D. Okay, so that's good. I see a lot of votes for option D. And amazing because don't worry, we are going to touch on all of them just like you all wanted. So let's start with something I personally believe in is the biggest unlock for students today, which is projects. So because let's be real, your GitHub is your portfolio and it's where recruiters look when they open your resume. So it's where startup founders maybe check to see if you can actually build. And if you're wondering what makes a recruiter DM you or what actually helped me get noticed by Mercury, it wasn't just my CGPA, it was also my projects. So if you have got a penned repo or even one small, maybe weekend build and a README that explains what you made, I think that shows the proof of initiative and that also shows the ownership. And most importantly, it shows that you can start and finish something. And let me tell you about a small side project I made. It's called Scriba, which I built like maybe in the last 2 months. So it's a lightweight Chrome extension that helps you rewrite email text to sound more professional using OpenAI. And basically, you just select some text in your email, click the extension, and it gives you a polished version that sounds like more clearer, more confident, and more human-like. And this idea came from something super relatable to me because as I was it was just my starting in the corporate world. So when I started working in Providence, I used to rewrite my own emails a lot, like rereading them 5 times to make sure I didn't sound maybe awkward. So one day I just thought, why not build something that does this for me? And I had zero experience with Chrome extensions before this, but I jumped in anyway. And along the way, I learned a lot of things, like how Chrome extensions are structured, like what's a pop-up and what's content script, and how to grab the selected text from web pages like Gmail. I also learned that you can actually customize which web pages you can grab it from, like maybe YouTube or Gmail. You can customize those, and also how to send the text to OpenAI and show the rewritten version instantly. And I even built a super simple pop-up UI, like just a clean box with result and a copy button. It is nothing fancy, but then it worked. And here's the key part, like this wasn't a huge polished product, but it was something that is done. Like it worked and I pushed it into my GitHub. And that alone made it something I could share with recruiters or talk about in interviews. And I think that's because it shows that I can take an idea, like even a small one, and actually build something useful out of it. And honestly, that's more powerful than 10 certificates. So if I had more time, maybe I would have added things like maybe letting the users choose the tone, like maybe friendly versus formal, or even saving your previous rewrites. But that's the fun part of small projects. You always get ideas for what to do next. Because I started with this on my own, like I just wanted to make it more formal or more clear to send to my managers or my colleagues in work. Then I also found that maybe I can give them a variations of tone, and also maybe I can just save my previous charge. So this is the beauty of the small projects. And if you're ever stuck wondering what should I build, just look at your own problems like I looked at my own. This scriba came from my own problem. So I would suggest that you should just look at your own problem, because even if something it's tiny, it can turn into a project that teaches you a lot more. And so I have seen a lot of people, including myself, who started the project and left it in between. So I have never, like, I have started so many projects that never made it past the cool idea phase. And I even had one project where I spent like 2 days choosing just the design of the landing page and how to navigate between the pages, and then like never touched it again. So, but here's the trick that I've learned the hard way, and you can just use it. It's that you don't need, like, you don't have to build the perfect app. You just need to finish like one tiny slice of it, which works really well. Like, if you take, for example, instead of building an entire note-taking app, you can just build a quick notes widget, maybe that saves locally. See, there is a lot of difference in this, making an entire note-taking app and giving a quick notes widget. See, you can see that there is a lot of difference, and you can actually learn a lot of new things in that. Also, maybe instead of a full AI chatbot, maybe you can build a simple Q&A tool that works on the content you want. Maybe even a chatbot for the GirlScript Foundation to answer the queries about the people. So these are some things that can actually help you in real. So, and that's enough for a project to be resume worthy. They need not be something flashy or something groundbreaking. They can just be there in your own life, which you didn't identify it. So take the time and identify your problems. Also, if you start, like you can start small and then you will be able to finish it on the go and do three simple things that take it to the next level, which I actually followed. The first thing is you have to write a clean README, because that will explain what the project is and why you have built it. It shows the whole purpose of your project. So make sure that you always have a clean README for the project you're building, because GitHub is the place where recruiters look at, as I already mentioned. Also host it, like use Vercel or Netlify or GitHub pages. All of these are free, because deploying a project, you will get to know what are the problems you get while integrating the front end and back end, or how exactly it looks from the user's perspective. You can get a lot of reviews on how it's actually working. So this is the main second point, which is hosting it. And the third one is like share it. Like even just once, like try to post it on your LinkedIn, because you'll be surprised by how many people will DM you with, hey, this is cool. Because this happened with me on my Scriba project. I thought this is just a normal project, but still let me share what I learned on my tech journey. And I was honestly surprised by so many people commenting and DMing me saying that this project is really cool. I think it will be useful for me. So I would suggest that you should share it. So these are the three main things these are the simple things that will take your project to the next level. Also, one of the projects I got noticed for is I said Scriba. So it's not just groundbreaking tech, but what made it stand out is that it's finished, it's polished, and also published. So these are the three simple things that you need to do. Also, you don't need to be an expert, you just need to be willing to give it a try and finish something. So, next time you start a project, try to finish it, even though it takes some time. Try to sit down and navigate through your tools that you already know, or maybe try to know some new tools, because that is what going to show that when you start, you're also going to finish, and it shows that people can actually rely on you. Then now let's talk about one of my favorite things in tech world, which is hackathons. So I have participated in over a dozen hackathons now. Some went extremely well and some were total chaos. But I want to tell you one truth, that is I have never walked away empty-handed, because every single time I came out with maybe a new skill or a funny memory or even a very good network that I made there. So maybe I can share your story here. Let me take you back to my second year of college. So me and my team, we thought that let's try to give the hackathons a serious try. And we have registered for one hackathon, which is an offline one. So we decided like randomly to sign up for this hackathon. We weren't sure what we were doing because we were just in our third semester there and we didn't know many like much tech. So we entered into the hackathon and we were really scared because and everyone else there looked like maybe legit professional developers with maybe gaming keyboards and terminal teams. But we tried to keep the thing simple. We told ourselves like, let's just finish building this project like this simple thing. Maybe we won't win anything, but still we'll have something to put on our resume. So, and guess what? Like we didn't build the flashiest project, but we finished what we started. And to our total shock, even all my teammates were shocked that we won a track prize for that project. So it's not because we were the best developers, but because we showed up and built something useful and explained it clearly. So that is all I want to say. Like you should try to own the project and not try to win the hackathon in the first place. And in fact, let me tell you about my Mercury Japan story as well, which also started through hackathon actually. So this was Mercury's first ever hackathon in India, and they launched it exclusively for women in tech. And we had to take an online coding assessment as the first round, and they selected 30 girls from across the country, and I was one of them. Then they actually put us into small teams and gave us a real world product problem of the company. And something you should know is that my team didn't win. We didn't take home any prize. But what we came to know is that they were watching more than just the winners. They were observing how we collaborated, solved problems, and communicated our ideas. And somehow that was enough, because weeks later, I was shortlisted for an interview. And in that interview, it was a technical plus HR round. So they asked me about my projects and what I worked on during the hackathon, my campus activities, and what side projects I built. And eventually I got the offer. So one takeaway I want to say is that you don't need to win a hackathon to win from a hackathon. So both of these are extremely different. Like you don't need to win a hackathon to win from a hackathon. And sometimes just showing up with curiosity and initiative is what changes everything, like it did for me in my second year. Because I just want to say, just show up and build what you believe in, and good things will eventually follow. So I have seen a lot of people holding back from joining hackathons. Some of the most frequently heard answers were that I don't have a team. So this answer I want to address this here is that there are always people looking for teammates. You can always like try to post on your LinkedIn that maybe I'm looking for a teammate, I'm interested in this hackathon. Because it's surprising that there are a lot of people who are actually looking for teammates. You can do that. And one more answer, like the top three answers I'm just addressing. So the second one was I don't know enough it. So this one was something even I had in my first year. And let me tell you, because nobody ever feels ready, you just get ready by doing it. So even though you feel you're not ready, try to register for that hackathon and try to start in, and you will figure things out as you go. And also the third most heard is that I am scared that I'll mess up. So, and the thing is, that is the best way to learn, because by only by breaking stuff, you will figure out how to put it out together as well. So I would suggest that you just go register for that hackathon, find a team, and bring out your idea from your daily life, and you will be surprised by the result you will get. And one more thing is that hackathons are just not about like coding speed or ideating. They actually teach you a lot of things, and some of them are like maybe building under pressure and how to work in a team and divide tasks smartly when you're working in a team. Also, how to solve real world problems with creativity, because the way we approach even a real world problem is going to change the whole perspective of the project, and that is an important thing. Also, the one more most important thing it is going to teach you is have to pitch and present. And this will really help you during the interviews. I think that is what helped me as well, because I got to know how to pitch my problem statement and how to present my solution during hackathons along with my team. And I think that is what helped me during my interviews as well, because I was easily able to explain them of what I worked on, what tech I used, how I approached the problem, and how I resolved the conflicts in a team if there were any. And one more pro tip I want to share to win a hackathon is that don't just chase like flashy tech. I've seen people trying to use some new tech because it just looks cool, because that is not what is going to help you in a hackathon. What is going to help you is that if you build something that solves a specific relatable problem, that is what is going to help you have a good project that is going to impress the judges, because judges love clarity and usefulness. And it's better to always have a maybe a small, clear working product than a complex mess. So don't just chase after flashy tech, just try to take over a good problem statement that is real and that judges will automatically love your idea of the solution. Also, if you're looking for upcoming hackathons to try, I've shared a LinkedIn post on where to find these hackathons. I'll be just posting them in the comments. You can visit this LinkedIn post of mine and you can find the good hackathons wherever they're posted. Yeah. It will come up in the comment section. And now it's time to take a word that honestly used to scare me a lot too. It was open source. I used to think that open source was for people who contribute to maybe Linux kernel on weekends. Like maybe that's for real developers and that's not for me. But here's one thing is that open source is just people helping each other on public code. And that is it. Like that is all open source is. Like open source is just helping each other on public code, and it's not about being a pro developer or maybe knowing maybe 300 design patterns. It can be just as simple as fixing a typo in a README, or adding documents to explain code better, improving documentation for beginners, or maybe testing a feature and reporting an issue, or maybe adding even a tiny button that makes the UI more usable. So even if it's just one line, it still counts. And if you're just starting out, then look for GitHub repos that have some labels like good first issue or beginner friendly documentation and help wanted, because these labels exist because the maintainers want newcomers like you to join in. And in fact, a lot of contributors, like me included, started with document contributions, because documentation is often the most neglected but the most needed one as well, because that is what is going to help people understand. Yeah. And one thing is that nobody judged me for being just a newcomer in the open source world. And that one first pull request that I did, it gave me the confidence to make the next one. Because when I made my first open source PR, I didn't know how GitHub PRs used to work. And I kept Googling things like how to fork a repo on GitHub, or even how to resolve merge conflict in VS Code. And every project you have ever used, like from React to Python to VS Code, it was built and maintained by real people just like you, and they actually want your help as well. So that's exactly why I highly recommend starting with something like GirlScript Summer of Code. It's super beginner friendly and you get mentors and community support as well. You don't need to be an expert, they because they value consistency and curiosity over perfection. and it's specially designed to onboard first-time contributors. And through GirlScript Summer of Code, you can learn GitHub in real time and get introduced to good coding practices and actually talk to maintainers and other contributors because they have a Discord also for that where you can interact with people and you can build your confidence for bigger contributions by learning how to actually do PRs and how to merge the conflicts and all. And there is one thing is that even fixing one bug or writing one line of docs, asking one question in a repo, it still makes you an open source contributor. This label is not reserved for just maybe senior engineers. It starts with the moment you show up and say, "Hey, I want to help." So that is where the whole journey starts. So if you have ever used an app or a framework or a library that helped you, I think this is your way of giving it back while also learning so much along the way. So I would highly recommend everyone to start with open source. And I think GirlScript Summer of Code is the place where you can actually start. And now let's take a quick break from me talking for a second. And instead, let's turn the spotlight on you. So, like I already mentioned, I want you all to grab a notes app or just take out a piece of paper. And I want you to answer three questions for me, maybe right now or maybe when you have time. So I'll be pasting them. Yeah. So I've shared the three questions in the comments, and you have some 2 to 3 minutes. I'll give you some time to write down the answers for them. I can help you while you do that as well. So, what's a small problem you would love to solve is the first question, which is something like I'll take an example for that. So, the email thing, which I already mentioned, was a small problem for me. And what tech or tools do you already know that you could use if you're just starting out? Or maybe you can even answer this question using some tech or tools that you might want to use as well. So, you can list down them there, maybe React or maybe JavaScript, Python, anything like that. And the third one is how would someone benefit from it in real life? Like for mine, for the email thing, it was me and the people who are just starting out, or maybe even senior people who would like to make it easier to write in, like they can just write it in normal language and it will automatically transfer it into professional one. So those are my answers for the three questions. And I think you all also have yours ready. And if you have answered it, like if you still didn't, you can write down the answers after the session because that right there will be your next big project idea. And you don't need to wait for the perfect idea or a hackathon or a class assignment. You just need a problem you care enough to solve about. That is the only thing. And everything else, like the learning, the tech, and the polish, it only comes after you begin. So all you have to do is just begin, and then everything will fall into its place. So give yourself the permission to start small and even start messy, because that's where everything starts actually. And that's where the best projects often come from. And this is all. I think I have covered most of the things we wanted to today. Like I have covered open source and hackathons and also about the importance of projects because having side projects is what really helped me with my interviews as well, even for Providence and Medcurry, because that is what the thing they look at first when they see your resume. They're going to ask, why did you take up this project? What is the need of it when there are existing solutions? So this is one thing. So if you're doing a project, don't just try to go with the how can with the YouTube tutorial that you are seeing. So don't just replicate it. You can replicate it so that you can first understand how things work. Then I would suggest that you add at least one small feature that will make you stand out from the normal project. Because if it's a tutorial, it means that many people have already done it. Most of them already have on their resume. So try to add maybe one small feature that is really going to help your project stand out in your resume. Because when the recruiters see, they are going to ask you, why does your project stand out from all the existing solutions when it is already there? So have an answer ready for this particular question when you're putting a project on your resume. Also, only recruiters believe if they have it or deployed, like only if your project is deployed, it is going to be easier for you and for them to know how it works. So try to deploy it as well and have a README to clearly explain what is that project, why you have built it, and what are the tech you have used, what tools you have used, and why did you choose that particular tech? Is it because you're comfortable with it, or is it because it's suiting the solution? So I just want to say that if you are putting a project up in your resume, you need to have all the solution, like all the answers for the questions they are going to ask. So one thing is that maybe you can practice by yourself, like looking at your resume, you can think what questions the recruiter might ask me. So you can think of that and try to answer the questions, and it will really help you a lot in the interviews as well. And so before we move on to the Q&A, I've got like one final challenge for you all. Like I want you all to write down one action item that you're going to take this month, because writing down it will actually come up what you actually want to do as well. So I would suggest write just one action item that you're going to take this month. Maybe it can be small or even as ambitious as you want. For example, like maybe build a new project, or join a hackathon, or make your first open source contribution, or even register for GirlScript Summer of Code. So it could be any of this. You just have to write down one action item you're going to take this month. And whatever it is, I think make it your next step, because here's something I always remind myself. It's like you don't need GitHub stars, you don't need to be a lead code god. You just need curiosity and the courage to show up, like for anything and anywhere. And that's always been enough to start, at least for me. And over time, I think that's what builds momentum, confidence, and real world skills. So I would suggest all of you to write down one action item for this month and stick to it. Validate yourself of at the end of the month, since July is almost done, maybe you can validate at the end of August of did you actually finish that action item? If not, why were you not able to do? And maybe try to finish it as soon as you can. And I think we can take up the Q&A now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So we have got couple of questions on the
Yeah.
chat. So first one is from Varshita. Apart from technical knowledge, what skills do you believe are essential for a successful career in data engineering or tech in general?
Okay, so technical knowledge is the first one, and apart from that, I would suggest uh, some soft skills as well. Like you should be able to properly communicate your project. It is not enough if you just have a very good project. It also needed that you should be able to communicate what your project is, and I think that is one thing. Also, the second most important thing that most people ignore is that networking, and you get that in an easy way when you're still in your student life is through hackathons, is what I would say, because that's where you will get to meet a lot of other people and what they are working on, or how they got into some different places. So those are some things that are very important apart from technical knowledge.
So yeah, next we have a very common question. As a fresher, how do you attend interview?
Okay. So, yeah, this is really common. And as a fresher, how to attend an interview? Like I said, projects are what will make you stand out if you're still a fresher, because you don't have any experience in the industry and all. So, try to make your project stand out by following all the things that I've shared in today's session. And I think that will definitely keep you in a good place to attend interviews.
Next, we have the question from Lovely. What was the biggest challenge you faced while working in a data engineering role, and how did you overcome it?
Okay, so the biggest challenge I faced was maybe figuring out how to design the whole pipeline. So I was asked to figure out the whole pipeline, and I had no previous knowledge about it. Like I just knew a little bit, but then figuring out in terms of the corporate thing, and not just, like Kaggle data sets or simulated data sets. I think that was one of the biggest challenge, like trying to adapt to the real world and trying to make my project work in the real world. Yeah.
Next, we have from Arushi. Um, no, it's what was the tough communication challenge you faced in your internships, and how do you tackle it?
Okay, so
Maybe kind
technical
of
or
presentation,
communication challenge.
yeah, presentation, communication.
Okay. There was actually none of that I faced. It was that tough. Everything was going smooth for me. Maybe because I have already communicated during hackathons, during my presentations. So nothing was as tough. Only the technical part, like I said, I had to figure out how to make it work in the real world. That was the only tough thing for me during my internship.
I think the question is placed because most of the people assume that developer are more of introvert kind of. Maybe in that regarding, yeah. So
Okay, so if it is something like that, I would suggest that if you are supposed to give a presentation or something, that is something I also do, that before I give any presentation, I try to practice it by myself, like try to sit down and explain the project, just me in the room, and try to, if it's an internship, then you would probably have to connect your screen and have to present it as well. So I would suggest that you have to practice before you give presentations, because that is what shows what work you have done throughout the internship. So that is something even an introvert should do, because you need to put out what work you have done.
yeah, so practice is the hack, we can say.
Yeah.
Uh, Next, we have from Tanishk. How have hackathon contributed to your learning and confidence in tech? Can you share any memorable hackathon experience?
Okay. So I've participated in a lot of hackathons, like I said, and something that boosted my confidence was when my team and me, we won a hackathon in the national level. It was Decodex 2025 hackathon, which was done in February. So I have learned a lot of things. One thing is that for that we had to go with an extremely new domain, which was logistics, and me and my team had no idea about that previously. So as soon as we got the problem statement, we had to first research on what was happening behind the problem statement. And there I have understood, like after we won the hackathon and all, there is something that I understood is that even when you're thrown into a new, completely new domain, you can still get accustomed to it. You should not restrict yourself to anything, because maybe I could have gone something like, I don't know logistics, I'm not doing it. But that didn't happen. So I would say that is what contributed to me from hackathons, is that I learned how to get accustomed to different domains, different aspects of looking at the problem statement and understanding how it actually works in real world. So that was a memorable experience for me.
Next, it's Karan. What would be your one piece of advice to students or aspiring developer who want to break into data engineering or similar fields?
Okay, so there was one misconception I've heard from many people who want to get into data roles, is that you don't need coding. So this is extremely wrong. You do need coding. I have been writing my Python code even after I got in here, because that is how you actually make the data pipelines or anything work. Even if you're going to data analysis roles, you still have to maybe clean the data, you have to analyze the data. So one thing is that don't come to data side just because you're scared of DSA. DSA is of course less on the data side, but then you still, that is what is going to help you analyze the problem in the first place. So you still need your coding skills, and that is one advice, that don't ignore your DSA in any stage. You just have to practice coding, because that is what is going to build the logic for you in the back of your mind, like how to approach a problem. That would be one advice for any field you're going to get into.
Uh, okay. Next, we have from Melody. How to choose a team for joining the hackathon?
Okay. So this is something I addressed in my LinkedIn a lot of times as well. Like I've seen people forming teams for hackathons just because they're friends. So this is something that shouldn't be done. It's good that if you find them in your friends, but then a team should have various combinations, like a front-end developer, a back-end developer, a designer, and people who can actually ideate very well, and people who can present. So if you get it in your friends, it's extremely good, but then don't choose them just because they're friends. So there is a lot of difference in this. So that would be one thing for choosing teammates for hackathons. You have to make sure you're covering whole lot of things, like all the perspectives and all the aspects needed for making a very good project.
Rishi Mandal, DSA or open source contribution?
Okay, I would say both of them because they both are important, and because DSA helps you get into the corporate world, and open source contribution is what will make it easier for you after you get into the corporate world. So both of them are extremely important. DSA is something that will help you also approach the problem, and open source is something that will help you show how you approach the problem. So both of them are important.
Next, again, we have from Melody. If I know web development, should I give try on hackathon related to cloud computer or AI ML?
So I don't know, but these are extremely different. So if you know web development, it's good that you can include anything into web development. So you can try anything. You can mix ML, you can mix AI. All of that is possible. But then web development is just the starting stage. It's not the complete thing that you can directly present. You will still need to incorporate in different things that will make your project stand out. So yeah, you can definitely give it a try.
Uh, Amira, next question with Amira. Have you started your corporate journey with this position itself? Like, what is the first position of yours in corporate journey?
Yeah, actually, this is my first thing in the corporate world. So, my first thing is the data engineering intern role I got at Providence. So, that is how I started my corporate journey, and it was extremely good.
Okay. Next, we can pick up from Harsha. I'm in
Hmm.
the course of data science, so uh, should I do to get a job or internship or need to do DSA?
Yeah, that is what I like addressed already. So if you are looking for data roles as well, you will still need DSA, but I would say it would be of less toughness as than of the software engineering roles, because software developer or software engineering roles are completely based on how you tackle the problem. But then on the data side, you just need to understand how you might approach, and then like maybe make a data pipeline or analysis of the data or make anything out of it. So DSA is needed, but then you can stick with low to medium level of questions.
Ma'am, can you suggest me how to find the project to contribute as an open source contributor? Because I can't find the project. And if we contribute to open source, how GSOC will know about it?
Okay, so for the open source, I have said this in the session. So you can just check for labels like good first issue or beginner friendly or documentation and help wanted. And I think GirlScript Summer of Code, they have a set of repos that they are incorporating into this. I think that is right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can just go there and you can go to any repo and you can check for the labels. So in the labels, you can check for any of these that will help you get started with it. And these are especially for the newcomers only. So like good first issue, beginner friendly, documentation and help wanted. And that is how you can find the project. It's not more about projects, it's more about finding the issue. So when you find a project that you're interested in, you can go and check if you have an issue that you can actually contribute to, and when you raise a PR or when you try to merge it, then GirlScript Summer of Code, they are going to review it and they are going to merge the conflict if it is satisfying the condition.
Yes, we have a structured program. You'll be joining as contributor. We have project admins mentor. They will guide you and they will understand your caliber and put you in the respective projects. So that's the uh, what to do when we know the problem but don't know the technologies which would help us to achieve that.
Okay. So when you know the problem and don't know the technology. Okay, so that is what happens in any project actually, even for anyone. So what I would suggest is that when you know the problem, you can break down it into first sub problems of different steps. Like you can just make it into sub problems and then try to see using GPTs of how which different technologies can be used for it. Then try to narrow it down to your own problem. Like you can try to see if this is exactly what is solving or if this is something a bit far away from my solution. So you can verify there. You can check even on Google and all of how these problems are actually solved, because most of the project ideas, they're already solved and hosted on GitHub. So you can just go there and see how they are solving and how you can differ from them. You can know that way.
Can we manage dev and DSA both in third year?
Yeah, that is possible. That is what you should be doing as well. You need to do projects and you need to do the DS as well.
You have to work hard.
Yeah.
So how big is AI ML in open source?
I think AI/ML is big everywhere. Like that is what is taking over the whole space right now in the world. So it is extremely big and important.
Yeah. Um, what's your opinion about cloud computing? Like people who are thinking to choose cloud domain.
Okay, that
Yeah.
is also a very good domain right now because everything that is happening right now is mostly being shifted to cloud than on having things locally. Because with cloud, you can access it from anywhere and also you can have large storage spaces. So it is a good place to get started, but then don't just stick with the beginner level tools or beginner level technologies. Try to go in deep if you're picking up cloud. It's easy as well, but then it is a new thing to start with. You can do that.
Can you give us a roadmap for hackathon? Is there any
Okay.
roadmap?
Yeah, a roadmap as in, okay, I can just say the first thing will be getting a team. Like first you have to make a team. Don't change your team for every hackathon. I would say have a set of people that you're comfortable in working with and covering all the aspects needed for a project. So have your fixed team. Then that would be the first step, finding your teammates and understanding whether you can work comfortably with them. And the second step would be to find hackathon and just register for it. And the third one would be picking up a problem statement which you are really interested in and which you can solve as well. So try to pick up a problem statement because you can solve and not just because it is looking like something that would help you win. Don't aim for the prize always. Like just aim to finish the project and learn things from it. Then after choosing the problem statement, you can sit down and first go with the designing phase of how you can approach this problem and how would you navigate through this solution and how you can tell it in simple ways to the judge because when you're trying to simplify it to the way you're telling to the judges there that is where you will understand which is unnecessary and which is excessive and you can cut it down if it's not needed. And then the next part would be implementation, and while you're implementing you would also know which is extremely difficult, then maybe you can change it to something else. You would always have time if you do that. Then the last part would be practicing how to pitch the solution to the judges. So that would be the most important thing because you need to put out there what solution you actually made. And then I would say the last one would be winning the hackathon.
Oh, I think we have more of the
Yeah,
young audience in today's session. So,
yeah.
how to select the problem statement during open source program?
During open source program, I think they would have to select the projects, right? That more than problem statement. Yeah. You would have to
No,
select project which, yeah, right?
no, no, you please proceed. Yeah.
Yeah, true. So during open source, I think you would have to select with the project of whether it's something you're interested in, whether they are using the technology you know. And after that, you can just go to the issues and select sub issues that you can contribute to.
Most of them are asking very common questions, so I'm shortlisting to
Yeah,
save
yeah,
your time and mine as well. Uh,
yeah,
Mostly, what I can do is the context is mostly they are beginner and they are very confused where to start from. Maybe someone from the tier 2 tier 3 colleges, maybe they are more confused because that's a very genuine concern, they are not get exposure. So I think most
yeah.
of the questions are being stuck on how to start with, which program is right, and which. So
Yeah,
in
so
general,
for the open source contribution, I would definitely suggest first GirlScript Summer of Code because they you will also get mentors. That is why I'm suggesting this because they'll help you understand where you are actually in. They'll help you navigate through the journey as well. So you can go with GirlScript Summer of Code for open source. And for hackathons, there is nothing like somewhere you can start. It's just register, go in, and you'll understand where you are in. Only then you will know where you need to improve and how you need to proceed. So while starting with the hackathon, because hackathons and side projects come like in a combo. If you are in a hackathon, you get the side project also done. So you can just start with hackathons and it will also give you a lot of good exposure. You will get to meet a lot of people, a lot of new tech that maybe other teams are using and others' perspective of seeing things, how judges actually think and what's the real problem. You'll get to know a lot whole of things. So I would suggest hackathons are a good place to start with if you want either projects or even exposure if you are still in tier 2 and tier 3 college.
Okay. Next, again, we have a very common question. What is the roadmap for a second year student? Like, what we have to learn? So, what I guess there's maybe the problem is how to manage multiple things. Maybe they were worried about handling everything, exams, open source, and everything. So, I think that was the proper questions they must have
Yeah.
been step on. Yeah. So, what would your
So
advice you want to give?
Yeah, so I would say that in your first and second year, it's better if you more in the first year, it's more of try to concentrate more on your college courses and studies while starting over with your open source journey because maybe you might not be able to contribute, but then you will know how things are working out, and maybe you can even find out what tech you're actually interested in. So I would suggest that in your first year, and coming to your second year, you can start with coding in the small stages like don't go into the deep DSA, but then try to use maybe hacker rank or lead, not lead code. Lead code would come more of in your end of second year or third year. Try to go with hacker rank or some other platform that will help you as a beginner. And then you try to be consistent with it so that you will get accustomed to how to approach a problem which is maybe a bit complex as well. And try to time yourself also because in interviews you won't get a lot of time. They'll just give you some time to think over for a problem. So that would be a thing. And start with hackathons in second year is what I would say. Maybe you might not win something, but then, like I already said for open source, it's the same. You will get to know what's happening and what tech is actually in trend. It's not always the same thing that is used in the past is being used now. So they keep moving. The trend keeps changing. So you will get to know that. And in third year, you can concentrate more on improving your DSA because you will start getting internships and you will start getting to know what companies are coming and how the level of questions are. So you can start with your DSA, like a focused prep in your third year, which will help you a lot even in your placement season in the fourth year. So you need not just sit down and start in your fourth year. You can start in third year while maintaining even your hackathons. And something is that you don't keep everything at stake for your hackathons or anything. Don't skip anything for your exams because exams are very important because CGPA cutoff is going to be there for any company. Even though you're extremely good at some things, you will not be shortlisted because you're not having the criteria, which is eligibility criteria of the CGPA. So I would say never neglect your exams. So during your exam season, don't focus on anything else unnecessarily. And for the open source, I think they are going to be there, which is a long time. Like if Girls with Summer of Code is also across some months, so that you will have some good time to understand. It's not that you need to rush and you need to give the PR and you need to give the merge conflict on the day one itself. So you can take your time for that also. You will have a lot of time. It's just that you need to utilize it in the right way while also taking some time for yourself. Because when you take time for yourself and reflect on the things you have done only then you will get to know where you're going wrong or where you're doing right. So I would suggest that thing.
Um, which tech stack we should know to contribute in open source? We can extend this question as like which are the common tech stacks you should be prepared of? What do you think?
So I think Python, Java, I think Python is the thing which is used in most of the projects because it's compatible even with AI/ML or even calling the APIs or anything. So Python is like something which will be there always. So you should know Python and Java is also there in some, and then React is there. These are the things that are mostly used. And if it's project focused, I think you can find the tech that is used in the specific project also. So you can check for that in the projects where they'll mention what tech is used. You can get to know that. But Python is something that has always been there, and I think that will be there also.
What should be the focus area, projects, experience, or DSA? As managing all things together like job, project, DSA is not actually not possible.
Yeah. So I think experience it would come only in your third year or fourth year when you get the internship. So that would not be of much concern. And if you are doing an internship or anything, you won't have much time to contribute to anything else generally. So try to get started with your DSA prep in the before stages only. I would say all of them are important, but you should focus on one thing in 1 year. Like DSA, I said you should start focusing on third year so that it will be easier for you on the fourth year. And hackathons and projects, if you start from second year, you'll already have a bunch of projects in hand to put in your resume. So what depends is that the time you start focusing, you should focus on the main thing in the specific time that will help you get good with all of them in the overall journey.
What are the real and genuine opportunities for a fresher with the knowledge of generative AI, LLM, prompt engineering?
This, I don't think there is any opportunity for someone who knows just this because there is something a need of coding and all. There is Gen A and LLMs, these are used generally in anything. It's not like it is specific for something because even in data roles also you will have to figure out how to add in agents or how to automate the processing. These are something that are mixed up in every role, and you will not have a role specifically for this because everyone needs to know this. This is not something different. Either you be focused on data roles or you be focused on technical roles, more technical roles like software engineering or software developer. So Gen AI, LLMs, and prompt engineering are like a must for everyone. Everyone must know this. Only then they'll be able to move forward. And I think there is something which is DSA. DSA is extremely important for everyone.
Our next question is based on DSA only. Is language
Yeah.
matter for DSA?
No, not much. Like, especially in interviews, they just see how you approach the problem and how are you trying to think through the problem. Like, how are you actually going? How are you navigating? What are you doing for the analysis of time complexity and space complexity? So it's good if you just select one language. It doesn't matter which language. But mostly, I think Python and Java are the ones which most people are comfortable in. But you can go with C++ also. Anything is fine.
Uh, Someone asked GSOC is only for girls. No, no, GSOC is gender neutral. You should only be a enthusiastic, um, a very interested student only, and you can join. It's not restricted to girls only. Um, we will be getting more questions. So you want to continue, na?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Okay. So to get a job as a data engineer, is Python, SQL, and big data tools like Hadoop,
Hadoop,
Hive,
yeah.
Hive, these are enough, or is there anything more?
So these are actually good amount of skills that you'll need for data engineer. But then, like I said, I've been repeating DSA is important. So until and unless you don't know how to approach a problem, it doesn't matter what tech you know. First, because that is what they look at, how you're approaching the problem. So DSA is one thing, and having these tech along with DSA is extremely good. You'll be in a good position then.
What are the major things to mention in resume? Resume building is a very good question. Yeah.
Yeah. So in resume, the main things would be your socials, like your LinkedIn and GitHub. These two are important. And also you will need to add in any experience if you have any internships, if you have done, those will be something. And then the technology and tools of whatever you know, you need to have a separate column that would be good so that they can review what tech you know and what skills you already have. And having your projects, that is a very major section, major sections to have in your resume. You need to host it on GitHub so that they can actually review the code and all. That would be good. So projects, and then if any good certifications you have done, you can put up there. And any activities during college you have done, like maybe you're part of a club and you're in a good role in your club, maybe a founder, because I'm a founder of a club in my college. So those things will also help you, or you're in any activities during your college. So these all will show that you are not just a member who is technically good. It will also show that you are a good team player. It will show that you will be able to communicate with other people as well. So these are some things that are very important to mention in your resume.
Someone asks GSOC. Yes, GSOC application is still live. You can register through our app Insights, and please go search on the LinkedIn GirlScript Summer of Code. You will find all the detail through a post. So please register. We are open for registration. There is no more questions.
Yeah.
We have already covered everything.
Yeah.
Most of
We
the
got
questions
good amount
on
of
bookmark,
questions.
but
Yeah.
yeah, appreciated. These are very genuine thought. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would be sharing my LinkedIn if people want to follow or connect with me there.
Yeah, yeah. Please.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm not able to post, but then people, you can search me up on LinkedIn, just Prajwala Yadlapalli, and you'll be able to find me there. You can follow me or connect with me and share your concerns over through DMs or anything also. And I genuinely love hearing like what people build after sessions like this. So even if you have any idea, you can just DM to me and I would be happy to help you all. And I would say one thing is that build one small thing this month and see how much more confident you feel. And before we wrap up, I want to say a huge thank you. Thank you to GirlScript Foundation for inviting me and for creating spaces like this that make tech like scary and maybe more human so that we can relate. And thank you for spending your time here, for being curious, and for sticking throughout this session. You showed up, and that's already a big deal. And I would say go out there, make something which is which will solve problem for others. And I would say I'm always cheering on you all. And thank you all so much.
Thank you so much for joining in. It's really appreciated that you took time and contributed to the community, to the students, and it's a very positive things to have around. So, yeah,
Thank you.
thank you so much.